vivo.
Alright, what's up everybody? Kevin Van Voris here with David Van Voris. So, we got called out. We got called out by Demonology. Boy! I've been waiting.
Kevin has a demon too, but let me know when you get that 965 slip. I'll be waiting.
Damn!
Oh, God. It hurts me because I own a demon too. Demonology has called me, David, and SRT Mush out. I don't know if SRT Mush is actually going to be running or not. However, we've accepted the challenge. We actually race our cars. So...
Oh, shit.
What's up, y'all? What's up, Red?
Coming for you, Demonology. Sorry, demon owners. Sneaky cats in town.
All right, guys, check it out. I'm going to be at the Texas Motorplex August the 3rd from 6 o'clock to 12 midnight. It's going to be drag radials and slicks only. Guys, I'm looking forward to racing SRT Mush, Kevin Van Voris, and David Van Voris. Just in case those modded Hellcats are a little too much for me, I got my buddy Excessive, Paul Moody, coming to back me up. Anyway, you know what I'm doing. Snatch and sew. Peace.
This is going to be very, very interesting here on our premier broadcast of SmackDown, the champion Triple H.
The Rock's got a little plan in mind. The Rock is gonna beat your become the WWF champ.
Sound like you're making a promise.
And there's two things you can do about it. Absolutely nothing and like it.
Come on over here, son. We trying to see what secrets he got. Come on. Hey, man, we trying to see what Bruce Wayne doing over here. Get back, Robert.
Come on. All it is just the bags.
Hey, man, get back, Hard Wonder. Look, we trying to see what Bruce Wayne doing over here. Come on, man. Look at this, man. The Batmobile. Oh, man, let me see. Did you get it? Did you get your nines? Woo! Sneaky cat. Woo! The sneaky man. My log went down. Boy, you was running. You was running.
Or no disqualification. Are you kidding me? Rock bottom, baby. Oh, no! No! The Rock is absolute.
Wait for him, Dave. Just wait for him. Demonology's got that VIP. It's like Street Outlaws. Goddamn, dude. Sandals is a bad choice. Hey, who won that one? Was that left lane?
That was definitely
Okay, just want to make sure. Just double check.
Oh man, every time I see that Demonology video with the guys from Friday, that shit cracks me up. Oh my gosh. To this day, that is one of Demonology's greatest edits from him and his media crew. All credit to them for making that video. But man, I remember when I first saw that thing, I was cracking up. But anyways, that video came across my feed the other day, and I thought I'd share it because it didn't have the greatest views because Demonology wasn't that big back then. Kevin's channel wasn't that big back then. My channel was obviously really small back then. I think I only had like maybe 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers, if that. So that video really didn't get that many views. So a lot of people don't even know that Demonology and I had raced. So We Are Mopar was in March. So this coming March, that will have been 2 years ago. They have We Are Mopar in Dallas every year around March. We went down a day early so we could race Demonology at the Motorplex. And my Hellcat at the time, it just had an upper pulley, lower pulley, injectors, E85, dual pumps, 15-inch rear conversion with Bogarts on the rear and race stars on the front, stock front brakes, drive shaft obviously, stock rear end, stock axle, stock motor, stock head, stock blower, stock headers, and a muffler delete. So my Hellcat ended up going faster than that, but it only went 9.7s that night. That was actually the first time it had gone 9s, and I actually had really bad IAT problems. We had something wrong with the ice tank system. I had done something wrong when I installed it, and so we had like 200-degree IATs. It was really bad, but the car still went 9.7s. I hadn't been racing the car that long. We had done a bunch of tests and tuning with the car, and so my reaction times were terrible. I think I cut like a 0.5. It was terrible. Demonology red lit. I think he was trying to get the jump on me because he knew I had more power. So this was back when Demonology's Demon was stock, and he was really against modding it performance-wise because he didn't want to ruin the warranty. However, he did have 15-inch front and rear conversion, so his, he lost a little bit of weight in the car. He still had the stock front seat, took the passenger seat out, took the rear seat out. I think that's pretty much about it. So he had a couple lightweight mods, but it was a stock Demon nonetheless. And yeah, it was a good run. He definitely, even if he would have gone green, he would have got me on the reaction time. I was sleeping. I didn't know how to cut good lights back then. I was also afraid to red light. That's like always my biggest fear is red lighting. And so he got the jump out on me even though he red lit. And I just came around him on the top end, which I knew I would because I had the power. I just didn't know if I'd have enough time to reel him in with him cutting such a good light that he did. So I was able to reel him in, and it was a super fun time. But I wanted to show you guys that because I don't know that not that many people have seen that video, and it's such a funny video. And with me racing Demonology recently in the Mustang, I thought it'd be funny to kind of go back in time and kind of show you guys where it all started. But Demonology and I, we've always been good friends. We've always grudge raced for fun, and I've kind of always had a little bit more power than him. Now with the Mustang, we have a lot more power, and the car's a lot lighter, so of course the Mustang's faster, but it's still fun to go race your friends. I'd like to race him 8th mile, because it would be a lot closer probably, but my reaction times have gotten a little better, Demonology, but anyways, always a good time racing him. Him and Kevin actually raced that night, and I think the big call-out was really him and Kevin. I was just kind of like the sideshow. But Kevin had problems with his ice tank that night. He had problems all across the board, and he was only running 10s that night, so he had a lot to figure out. But nonetheless, it was a good run. It was all for fun, like it always is. Some people take it a little more serious than others, but it's not like we were racing for money or we weren't racing on an actual race day. Like, it was just test and tune, just grudge racing for fun. And it's always a good time when you can do that with people. So I urge you guys to go to the track, race your friends, and just have fun with it. But yeah, the Mustang has now taken on a little bit different route than the Hellcat was going. The Hellcat I could just take out, I could drive it whenever I wanted. I just have to go put an E85 in it. But I could just go out and drive it whenever I wanted. But however, it's sat in the back garage just like the Mustang does all the time. And I really enjoy the track stuff. I like doing the street stuff here and there, but I'm not really about that life, you could say, anymore. I did a ton of Mexico stuff in high school, and we probably should have filmed it back then for all the stupid stuff we did, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of the stuff we used to get away with, I mean, you would never get away with that stuff these days, but I did a lot of Mexico stuff in high school, and when I'd come home in the summers in college, and right after college I did a lot of Mexico stuff when I had my imports, but moving here, I did a little bit of Mexico stuff with the Hellcat here and there. I did a little bit with the Mustang when I first turboed it, but it's really become more of a track car. I'm just more of a track person. I have nothing against people that like doing the Mexico, the street racing stuff, nothing against those people. I just like, there's a little bit more pressure at the track, and I like that. I like the feeling of the pressure of lining up next to someone. You've got hundreds, maybe thousands of people watching you. It really gets your heart racing. You know, once you light that first bulb and the other guy lights his bulb, or whoever goes in first, it is on from there on out. And like everything changes. You forget everything that's going on. It's such a different feeling. Street racing, doing the Mexico stuff, it never really does that for me. The only thing it does is it raises my heart rate and stresses me out because I'm afraid the cops are going to come or someone's going to hit another car or, you know, whatever could happen. You know, obviously you don't want those things to happen, but you can crash at the track, right? You can get hurt at the track. People have gotten killed at the track. It is just a lot less likely to happen at the track, but when it happens at the track, it's in a controlled environment. So it's just different, you know? I really like the reaction time. You know, not always the fastest guy wins at the track. Street racing, I'm not going to say the fastest guy always wins, but the guy typically with more horsepower and the lighter car is going to win on the street if you can hook up. At the track, you've got to hook up. You've got to have power. You've got to have reaction time. You've got to, you know, if you have to shift, you have to shift correctly. Sometimes in street racing, if you don't shift, if you miss a shift, you might be able to come back from that. You know, but street racing is no easier. I'm just saying it's a different type of racing. So nothing against street racing. I don't think I'd take this car out in its state that it is now. Like I said, I've done it before. I've done the Mexico stuff. It's not for me anymore. You know, it's just really not what I built this car for. So, however, I do like that stuff. It's just, I like the track more. I just like it more. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go race at the track. Go do some heads-up racing. Go to an event like the Flashlight Shootout, like Streetcar Takeover. Go experience one of those events where you actually have to line up. You've got to do some test and tune, and then you've got to draw chips and actually race against someone. And it doesn't always happen to be the fastest car wins. Now, when two people are equally as talented on reaction times and their cars are pretty similar, but one has more power than the other, obviously the more power is going to win. That's racing, you know, but you're not always gonna have that when you go to the track. You know, you're gonna pull up, the guy could have more power than you, but he doesn't have it dialed in. He doesn't have the suspension dialed in. He doesn't have the tires at the right pressure. He doesn't have the front suspension dialed in. That matters just as much as the rear, the weight transfer. There's just so many more aspects when you're racing at the track. So sorry I kind of got off on a tangent, but it just kind of went hand in hand with racing at the track. I know Demonology is kind of the same way. He's kind of got the same feeling about it. So I wish I could go to the track more. However, our local track just isn't open as much as other tracks are. We are in Texas, but we're in Amarillo, Texas, if you don't know. So it gets really cold here. It gets really windy here. And we don't have the best weather here. Like today it's in the 30s and it was in the 20s the other day. So we don't have the best weather here. We have to travel a lot if we want to race year round, which is not a problem. But I would go to the track a lot more if I had it accessible to me. So just wanted to show you guys that video. Still to this day, that video cracks me up with the Debo and then the Undertaker and the Rock. I mean, I don't care who you are. That video is funny, especially if you used to watch WWE when that stuff came out. It was so ridiculous with the Undertaker, the Rock, all those guys. That stuff was so ridiculous. So it was really funny with that when that video came out. And it's just like the Friday movies. Those movies you can't remake, and so it was hilarious that he incorporated those. If you guys haven't seen those movies, go watch them, and then these scenes will make a lot more sense to you. But hopefully, guys, enjoyed that video. Huge shout out to Demonology for those videos, and hopefully we'll meet up with him again someday, maybe at the Flashlight Shootout, maybe at TX2K, or maybe we'll just go out to XRP on one of these weekends. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. As always, hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, comment down below, and I will see you guys on the next one.